Sickos Club.
Sickos Club.
When you got up to go pee, Blade, Professor was letting the dog in or out. I don't know, either one or the other. Out, and then he goes, okay, but don't be doing this in and out stuff the whole show. And I'm like, oh shit, is he yelling at Blade?
No, because she you ask her if she wants to go out, and she's like, no, I'm fine. And then everybody sits down to go watch TV, and then she's like, buh, buh.
Yeah.
I'm like, you just fucking waited for that. So every time I put her out, I'm always like, go find a new family.
Not even the full bark. It's the
No, oh no, yeah. Buh, buh.
Yeah.
Dude,
Fucking
Mox
asshole.
does the same shit to me. Like I'll have my door shut or whatever, and then like he'll be like scratching at the door. I see his little paw underneath, and I'll let him in, and he'll like do like a lap around the room, and then he's like, okay, I'm done. Let me out again. Mox is my cat, by the way, people listening. I don't mean John Moxley is putting his paw under my bedroom door to be let in.
Could be. Yeah, our cats do the same thing, though. They come in at like 3 a.m, announce themselves, and then walk out like fucking assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cat just goes like, he just wakes me up in the middle of the night like, hey, you should pet me right now. Like, just
What's
pet-
your cat's
just-
name?
Bowie.
Oh, like David Bowie? I've always said that if I change my name, that's what I'm going to change my first name to.
To Bowie?
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Either
That's a solid
Bowie,
name.
honestly, either Bowie or Brody. Those are my two.
They're both good.
Quality.
They're both good.
Not after Brody King, though. After Brody from Mallrats and Brody
All right.
Doll.
All right, we're talking about Kevin Smith. All right, all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sit Down the Hard Way. For some reason, I'm doing this with Professor Degree, who I'm still furious at. for
Sit down
making
the
us
hard
watch.
way, also known as My Tuesday Nights.
I'm doing this with Professor Degree for some reason. Professor, how are you?
I'm fucking awesome. I'm still kind of like basking in the afterglow of WCW Halloween Havoc 2000. Not my experience, but not the knowledge of your experience.
Do your intro.
Oh, it's me. It's Professor Degree.
Yeah!
I'm here to torment I Blade daily. And it's spooky because it's Halloween.
Introduce me.
I'm also here with fucking Brett Michelle. Hi, Brett.
Hi!
All right. So, what brings us to this occasion, my friends, is the
dream.
incredible WrestleDream that for maybe Hangman Adam Page ended in a Wrestle Nightmare. Last night, AEW presented WrestleDream from Chaffetz Arena in St. Louis, Missouri.
Is that how you pronounce Chaffetz?
I don't know.
Chafin.
Chaffetz.
I'm
I'm
chafed.
chafing.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. But it was a really fantastic show. Way outperformed my expectations. And my AEW expectations are very high. Very high. I think this
They
might
set the
be
bar pretty high.
second only to All In this year.
I'm having this like thing as an AEW fan right now where I feel like my expectations are crazy high for every show going forward because it just keeps being like the best wrestling I've ever seen. But then I'm also like, am I just just eating up anything they do? But no, like I watch the show. It's amazing in the moment, which is what matters, you know. But then I try to go back and rewatch it later on in the night, you know, like right after just to see, okay, like I already had the emotions. Now let's watch it from like a wrestling show standpoint. And it's still just like pound for pound, bell to bell, the best goddamn wrestling on television.
Yeah. This
Yes.
was a show that it was probably looking at the card. It was, the least excited that I've been for a pay-per-view in a little bit. And it was super solid. Yeah. Like no bad notes. Everything was good.
Really? What was was it the like what were you just not stoked on a lot of the
Oh
matches?
no, I don't
going
mean like
in?
I was looking at it in a bad way, but I was just kind of like, oh, I could have missed it. You know what I mean? Like there was a couple matches, like Ricochet's team in the Hurt Syndicate. Like I've seen that a bunch of times. Still turned out to be a totally awesome match. You know, Briscoe and Fletcher. The first 4 times were fucking awesome. 5 was also awesome, but like I was willing to watch the replay. I wasn't like super. I don't mean to say like I wasn't like that's not a negative to say that.
Oh no, I gotcha.
That's what I mean. I was just kind of like meh, and then I watched it and I was like, ah.
Do you see the look on Brett's face right now? She's furious. She's getting fucking.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
No,
because it's anger towards you, but it's seeping out towards me now, and I haven't even done anything wrong. I'm on trial here.
That's like a testament to maybe how like hooked in I am to everything AEW does. Is like I didn't even think about like some of these matchups were ones I'd already seen a bunch. I was just like, oh yeah, that's gonna bop and bang,
and they always do.
I knew it would be a great show. I think for me, it was just, I understand where you're coming from, Degree, in the sense that the stories were a short fuse. And so, like Joe versus Hangman felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. But how cool was awesome. That buildup, though? Like it was cool. No, it was great.
That's like the perfect example of how AEW doesn't have to do these, like, they don't have to have Hangman and Joe like meet at the half yard or the
Waffle House,
the middle of a football field with like the CIA surrounding them. Like it literally was just like Joe had that moment of, no, that's my fucking championship and I want it back, and just snaps on him, and that's the story.
Before we started recording, we were talking about just the takeaway that I got from the whole show, and I don't know if this is intentional because it's like the Antonio Inoki, tribute show, but like every single match, the theme seemed to just be, I'm better than you. I'm taking your crown. I'm taking your throne. Like there were storylines, but it wasn't like all kinds of chicanery or tomfoolery. It was just straightforward. We're going to do moves. We're going to do matches. We're going to do fucking arm locks. And like, I don't know. That was just kind of like, so you didn't need this big, huge build. You just knew it was, like you said, you knew it was going to be solid going into it because they always are.
Well, what I like is that AEW isn't resting on their laurels. They've gained a lot of favor this year where the audience is really tuned back in and people are excited.
And is growing.
Right. And they're excited about the product. Maybe some people who bailed are back, and some people who've never checked it out before are watching it. There's some pretty widespread dissatisfaction with some of the alternatives to AEW right now. And so I think what's great is that they haven't gotten just comfortable. They're like, yeah, we have great wrestling. We'll just do great wrestling. And one great example of that is the tailgate brawl. They've moved away from the pre-show. WBD clearly wants a lead in to the pay-per-view that's on their channels that they're focused on. So I'm going to run through the results of that real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on these matches. They were great. All of them were good. It's not we don't have 7 hours to review this 5-hour show.
And I didn't watch it.
The only thing I'll say before you get into that is like, I do wish they would just do one pre-show, because those of us that watch the tailgate brawl live, we missed that great fucking promo that Renee gave,
which I didn't even hear. Yeah, I haven't. Oh,
it was fantastic. It was just, like, I don't know why my husband is doing this. Like it's like I want him to be able to be there for our children, and like how do I like allow him to do this? She's like, I don't know how to talk about this match. I don't know how to call this match or anything. Like I am so emotional about it. It was beautiful. It was great.
Yeah, that's too bad that we missed that. That sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, real quick, the Death Riders defeated Roderick Strong in the Conglomeration. Fun match. Highlight for me was actually the Conglomeration's entrance. They got weird like Rocco's Modern Life entrance that I really enjoyed. That was a lot of fun.
Well, did you see their video they put out where it's like the intro to like an 80s sitcom?
Yeah, I mean, it's very Saved by the Bell. Very Saved by the Bell.
I love that it's guest starring Roddy.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, I wonder what everybody was talking about. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
So the Death Riders win that match. Eddie Kingston and Hook defeated the Frat House, in 3 minutes. I mean, missable. Very missable. Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale defeated the Top Gods. Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford by pinfall. Great match. A lot of fun. The women's tag title tournament is about to start. we're getting really close on that. And so
Wednesday.
Yeah, they're gonna announce.
Wednesday we get the brackets on Wednesday. So I'm very excited for that. And these ladies really delivered. This was kind of the highlight of the tailgate brawl. And then, we had like 5 minutes when FTR, or we had under 10 minutes when FTR and Jet Speed came out. And I was like, okay, something's going to happen here, because there's no way with entrances, they're going to do less than 10 minutes. That's ridiculous. And I was correct. So they come out, they start having this great match, and it goes to the end of the tailgate brawl, and WrestleDream opens with them still wrestling.
Which how exciting of a way to open a pay-per-view.
It was awesome.
It started with them the four of them are just like throwing punches, like quick punches at each other.
Right.
And you got the pyro going off in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We join our show already in progress.
Yeah, I loved it.
St. Louis is an incredible wrestling crowd. They are a legendary wrestling city,
Oh, man,
one
that
of the
crowd
greatest
was
of all
hot.
time. Yeah. And, Tony did a great job of honoring the history of St. Louis wrestling. We'll get into that later. But these guys are still fighting, and that's what I meant by not resting on the laurels. So they do something different and new. And so they're like, you know what? Let's have this match run from the tailgate brawl into the pay-per-view. Maybe a few people bought the pay-per-view because they were interested in that match. Maybe not, but I don't really care. It was awesome anyway. FTR gets a cheap, shitty win when Stokely Hathaway basically, was it? I don't remember if it was Bailey or Kevin Knight was trying to suplex one of FTR into the ring, and Stokely grabs their foot, and the FTR guy falls on top of him. He holds the foot down so that you literally can't kick out. And the ref missed it, and FTR gets a cheap, shitty win. Great way to kick off the show. The vibe was so good in the building.
Oh.
And so, we have this great event, that is going to be very good. But I think it started sinking in how good it was going to be when the show, the official opening of the show, the official match that opened the show was Tekla versus Jamie Hayter.
And woo!
Yeah.
And my reaction at the beginning was like, we're already getting this? Wow. Okay, let's do this. I had been really excited for this because it's a non-title singles women's match on a pay-per-view, which you just don't see very often
with
in
a
AEW.
story.
No.
With a story that they've been building. And they announced just before the match that everybody's banned from ringside. Nobody's going to interfere. This is Jamie Hayter and Tekla 1-on-1. Holy shit.
Yeah, they went for it.
Everybody knows how much I love Tekla. Okay? Like, she's a fucking star.
Oh, she is.
Yeah,
she is.
Tekla's-
She is very much the way that Roosh legitimately scares the hell out of me. Like, so does Tekla.
Uh-huh.
She is 5'1" and carries herself like she's 7'10". Like, she holds herself like a fucking giant.
Like that lady needs to play Wolverine in the next X-Men movie. Like, that's the attitude,
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I was so looking forward to in this match, and it lived up to it, was that in the women's division, like, those are your two hardest hitters. Like you said, Tekla's 4'0", 5'0", but she carries herself like she's 7 feet tall. Like, she lays those shots in. Like, she's a thumper, and so is Jamie. And my God, those women beat the shit out of each other.
They constantly keep talking about how Tekla got kicked out of Stardom for assaulting the manager or whatever. Like, I love that. She's assaulted referees. She's terrible. Like, oh, that's so good, man.
Well, and what I liked about this is Tekla's not a chicken shit heel. She likes to fight. She likes the barbarism of wrestling. And so what I liked about this,
that's awesome, dude.
Good word.
I want that on my tombstone.
he loved the barbarism of wrestling. What I really enjoyed about this particular match was Tekla being smaller than Jamie meant nothing. And part of that is Jamie, because she actually sold like trying to get the fuck away from Tekla a few times because Tekla was beating the shit out of her. Like she was like, "Stop hitting me for a minute." Like I need to I need to like catch my breath so she can mount a comeback, But the other thing I really enjoyed about this match is it wasn't as crisp as a lot of the AEW style can be sometimes, where it's like very smooth and everything's super smooth. This was rough. They were just...
And you know what? I like that. I loved that because
I loved it.
I know there's some people who, if you're into AEW style, like there's the people who want it to be smooth and crisp and everything flow into everything, which in some spots is great. But I love when it feels rough because it feels like a real fight. You know what I mean? It feels like a real struggle of who the fuck is going to land that shot.
Yeah, it's less like a choreographed dance and more like, holy shit. And I like the choreographed dance shit too, don't get me wrong. But yeah, a few little fuck ups are cool. A little sloppiness.
Yeah, and there was a spot where I was like worried that Jamie got injured again. She landed weird on something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but she was fine. She seemed fine. I guess, I kind of fucked up because I said we would talk about how they paid tribute to the history of St. Louis wrestling.
I was wondering.
So before this match started, Tony Schiavone was in the audience and he's talking about the history of St. Louis wrestling, how integral St. Louis was to wrestling historically. And really for the NWA, St. Louis was the territory in the beginning. It was home base. Sam Muchnick ran St. Louis and was the president of the NWA, and Lou Thez was their preeminent champion, their first superstar. And he had Lou Thesz's wife, Charlie, in the crowd. And Charlie was a lot younger than Lou, who died like 20 plus years ago.
What a cutie she is.
Yes.
When they asked her, how you doing? And what does she say? I actually haven't, hold on. She says, if I was doing any better, I couldn't stand it. I'm like, oh, you're adorable.
I loved her little glasses. She was a little cutie.
She was having a great time, and you could tell she really loved the atmosphere. So when Jamie came out, first of all, Jamie comes out in a tribute to Inoki, which I thought was super classy. And when she came out in that, I'm like, Jamie's winning. Okay.
In which not to bring up, the alternatives too much, but I saw someone say this online earlier, and it's so true. Like, for a company that's only been around for 6 years now, like, they do more to present the entire history of pro wrestling as an art form than the company that presents itself as the one and only godsend of pro wrestling. You know
that
what I mean?
Actually owns a lot of the footage.
Yeah, and you can the difference to me too, because like they'll do their little tributes here and there or whatever, but it feels very pandery. Whereas when AEW does these tributes, you can tell like it's because the company like fucking appreciates the hell out of what came before it.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Tony Khan's a sports guy. He understands the value, sports, like what are sports without their history? You know what I mean? And Tony is, he has so much reverence for wrestlers and wrestling, and I think that that's really commendable. Giving her the spotlight, really letting the crowd applaud her and remember Lou Thez. I mean, the first worldwide global wrestling superstar, truly. The guy who went to Japan and brought wrestling to Japan. The guy who was working overseas, working in every territory across the country, the first truly great NWA champion. And that's his wife.
Press after him.
Right. Yeah, the Lou Thez press. I mean, Lou Thez invented the power bomb. Like,
right?
This dude was the fucking man. So that was cool. And then Jimmy Hayter comes out dressed in the Inoki tribute robe and stuff, which I thought was so awesome.
It's like a wrestling serpentor.
She immediately comes over and like pays some like kind of respect to Charlie. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be part of the match. And it certainly was. There was a few times where Jamie came out and again, kind of paid more tribute to Charlie. And then at one point, Tekla, of course, comes out, puts her hand out to shake Charlie's hand, and Charlie reaches, and Tekla does the too slow, and gets the big boos. At one point, okay, so off the hard cam, there's these kids in the front row, and they are heckling all the heels throughout this entire show. Tekla looks at one of these little kids and goes, "What the fuck did you say, you little bitch?" And I am like, how can I love this woman anymore? I mean, how can I? Yeah, exactly. But Tekla really dominates most of the match. I mean, she really got her. She looked great. And Jamie really wanted to get her over as just a world beater heel.
Mm-hmm.
And they go about 13 minutes, and Jamie Hayter hits the Haterade, gives Tekla her first loss in AEW in a singles match. Great opener. Great opener. What'd you all think?
Yep. Fantastic. I loved it. I thought it was the perfect. I mean, the show started with, the brawl still happening between FTR and Jet Speed, but as first matches goes, like, you can't get any better. It was just a fast paced, hard hitting slugfest. The right person won.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Actually, they went 15 and a half minutes. So they got a good amount of time. That was really refreshing to me.
I do have one complaint.
What's that?
I need Jamie Hayter to come out to fucking some rock and roll. Like, a good classic rock and roll.
What did you suggest? You suggested something a week or two ago, and it was
Strutter.
Like, yes. Yep.
You want her to come out to kiss his Strutter?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
Yeah, dude.
Okay. All right.
Anyway.
All right. So,
right? I know a thing or two about her. Yeah, dude, that's fucking cool.
R.I.P. Space Ace Frehley, by the way.
Fucking one of the greatest guitar players of all time.
Truly. Mm-hmm. Ace was not the most technical guy, and he never needed to be. He was just really, really good. He was way more influential.
Dude, fucking ripped.
That's everybody's review is like, well, he was sloppy, but
I don't even think he was sloppy. He was just simple. And simple. I mean, look, he's more influential than people way more technically talented than he was. So Ace Frehley influenced at least one entire generation of guitarists, if not two or three. He certainly influenced me, and I was a generation after him. So
it's all wrestling music.
Yeah. Amazing musician. I got to see Kiss twice on that reunion tour. 3 times, actually. 3 times. So I got to see Kiss with Ace in the makeup in the 90s. So I feel complete in my Ace-ishness. But damn, that really kind of came out of nowhere. Speaking of something that kind of came out of nowhere, they announced the next match is Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. And I'm already? They're already doing this match? It started to sink in. All of these matches are going to feel like this. This is just an all-star event. Crazy.
Every single match.
Yep.
And let me say, the feel-good story of the end of this year to me has been Jurassic Express's reunion in a way that I didn't know it would make me feel the way I feel about it. Because, I loved Jack as a scapegoat. I loved that run for him. I know a lot of people had their little problems with it, but I thought it was fantastic. I thought it did so much for his character. But holy shit, man. Every time Tarzan Boy hits, I just my heart feels warm. And it just brings me back to my first memories of watching it. I mean, even though they weren't that long ago, but it just brings me back to the first time tuning into AEW and being what is this new show that I'm falling in love with? Just, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. I was sad. I didn't want the scapegoat to go because I liked it too, but
me too.
Same thing. I didn't expect that this would, have that kind of impact. It's the first time I went to an AEW show, and it's the first wrestling show. And I know I fucking talk about my kids all the time, but I take my little boy to see it. And the first match was a Jurassic Express match. And when that music hit and watching that kid's eyes light up and everybody doing the dance, and it takes me back to that moment.
And you know what I
It's
think is really working too with this is because I know when the reunion first happened, there was a lot of people saying like, "Oh, I don't want Jack to be Jungle Boy again," and blah 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 blah. And I was like, me. Yeah, and I knew he's not gonna be.
No,
like he's gonna take everything he became with the scapegoat, that snarkiness, that that little bit of a shit heel in him. Like he still got that, and we even saw that in this match. When he was trying to change the fucking tag rope. Like he's still got that sly sneakiness in him, and I love it because it still works. It still works like in this iteration of Jurassic Express.
But what he's been able to do, and I just didn't think it would work, is he is a true babyface. He's not really a tweener. He's a true babyface that might pull a little shit every now and then. But when he was sitting on the floor on the outside and he just smiled and he did the little smirk, but then he couldn't hold it and he did like a real big toothy smile. This guy's really happy right now. Yes, he looks he's really.
He's a little shithead. You can't help but love.
He looks really happy, and it really comes through. And this was his showcase. I gotta say, I think the Young Bucks are having a career year this year.
Yeah. Fuck, right? Yeah. Jesus. This whole run of them being them winning like a jackpot and then immediately going to blow it at the fucking casino.
The ATM intro my God. Really cool too.
Oh yeah, it's been so fun. And it's like, because you think like, how can the Young Bucks like do something they haven't done before? Like how can they take being the little shitheads to the next level? And they do it, man. Like this whole run has been hilarious.
And they've laid it on both ways, like the Founding Fathers thing, where they were coming out as the EVPs and just being so insufferably obnoxious, just assholes. And then them losing and then now running into money troubles. I also love that, like, Nick Jackson really looks like a gambling addict. Like, he's acting like a fucking crackhead, and I love it because
God forbid a man have hobbies.
Yeah. Well, like, so they do this, the entrance that they did, which was awesome, and it's their balance sheet, and like if they win the $500,000, they'll have $32 left over. Basically, and
I love they couldn't even afford the pay-per-view.
Right. They couldn't afford the pay-per-view. And I also love that there was a fan that says, like, Young Bucks, I'll give you $20 for a picture. And Nick immediately goes over to them and he's like, trying to get $20. Like, it's so funny. And they play it to the hilt. And then the bell rings.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Holy shit. So, first off,
put on a show.
The chemistry between these two teams is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And Jack Perry, they wrestled one match before this on TV, and it was a pretty brief match. It wasn't, a big, show off kind of thing. And Jack looks like he's never missed a beat. And really, this team looks like they've never been apart. And I think, what I kind of started saying earlier and kind of forgot to finish was, I really wondered, like, could Jack be a true babyface again from being the scapegoat? Would he have, like, is he going to fundamentally, like, now he's just this good guy again? And the answer is no, but the fans have kind of just decided we love you and we want you to be a babyface. He's never actually revealed himself to be, like, I take back everything I did. He doesn't say any of that. Like, he said he doesn't hate the Bucks. He appreciates them for what they gave to him. But, they stopped talking to him. And
what did he say to Kenny? He kind of apologized, at least to Kenny,
right?
Though, right?
Right. He apologized to some degree. And so that was the match they had. It was this last week on Dynamite. They had the trios match with Kenny and Jurassic Express. And Jack proved to be good to his word that he would have Kenny's back. And you knew at some point Kenny Omega's going to probably have Jack's back at some point. And I thought it might be in this match during the actual match. It wasn't. There is no describing a Young Bucks tag match. There's no describing it. It's a fruitless, pointless effort. Watch the fucking match. It's, this is the coordinated dance stuff. Yeah. But it's as well done as you're ever going to see.
Oh my God.
There was a spot towards the end that just blew my mind. I can't even recall every move that happened in it, but my God, it just blew my mind. And I was like, this is tag match of the year. Until the tag match later in the night.
Yeah, I mean, I say it every single time when I see the Bucks wrestle, but it's like you think they're going to do A, B, and C, and then they go all the way through Z. You know what I mean? And they just keep going and going, and they're just, this year has probably been the year that the Bucks finally, in my own personal Hall of Fame, cemented their spot as okay, you're my favorite fucking tag team.
Ever.
Goodbye, Road Warriors. You weren't really that good of wrestlers, but you were the Road Warriors, and I always loved you because you're the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I'm turning a page now, and it's the Bucks.
The cardio and the positioning in these matches is just unfucking believable.
Positioning is a good word.
They have to be in a particular spot after every single move, or the next move isn't going to work. And that's what was really hitting me watching this match, was how everybody, not just the Bucks, like Jack and Luchasaurus as well, are just in the exact right spot at every different
and you're
time.
only as good as your dance partner,
Yes.
All four of those dudes should be commended for that.
And here's the thing, too, because you get the fans who don't like this style of wrestling. Their big gripe is oh, it just feels like choreographed and blah, it's not realistic and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, to me, it feels more realistic because, if you're in a real fight with people who are supposed to be superhero level fighters, it's not just going to be a slow slog of punches. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But just the ability to have that, to think on your feet like that, to be in those spots while you're going 100 miles an hour, flipping backwards, forwards, sideways, and to do it with more than just one other person as your opponent. When you've got a tag team, you got 4 people who all have to be in coordination while they're running at 100 miles per hour. It's unreal. Yeah. Even if all you appreciate from it is just the athleticism alone, it's beautiful to watch, as an art.
Yeah, that's the word.
It's crazy. I think when I think back to every multi-man match that I think is the highest of the high, the common denominator is that the Young Bucks are in every single one of them. These guys know how to put together matches better than just about anyone. If it's a multi-person match, the Bucks are putting it together. And when they're with,
which is an art form in itself, the
100%.
ability to plot out these spots, and make it something you haven't seen yet.
Right.
That's where the choreographed complaint always falls flat, because it's you watch shows like Daredevil where there's hand-to-hand combat that's just next level. Or I think the Winter Soldier had really good hand-to-hand combat. I watch a lot of Marvel movies, and it's you don't complain about that choreography.
Yeah.
Why would you complain about people doing it, as you said, live at 150 miles an hour? It is absolutely an art form. I mean, we say it every week, but it's the truth.
The thing to me is it just looks cool.
It
just looks fucking awesome, and it delivers emotional impact. That's all you can ask for. So why are we trying to find something wrong with this? There's nothing wrong with it. It's so
whole
great.
Pay-per-view, I kept thinking of the Blade scale of, was it bad or was it good? And every motherfucking match was all capital letters good.
Yeah.
That was the whole, it's always, every match. I smiled so much through this whole pay-per-view.
Yes. I was kind of again, just not I didn't have like a big expectation for what was going to happen on the show, and it just crushed. Everything was good, and the Young Bucks put over Jurassic Express in this match. Jack Perry really was elevated in this match. He took a BTE trigger and kicked out. And the thing, Peg, that you were saying about, you've got to, you're doing all this athletic shit, but you've also like got to be in the right spot. You got to be doing all those things. You also have to be emoting and acting while you're doing all those things. I mean, this is theater in this, it's absurd theater in the most over the top way, but the Bucks, this is their prime today, right now.
Yeah.
Matt Jackson is nearly 40 years old doing this shit. Crazy. The Bucks are the GOATs. Fuck that. They are the GOATs. But they lose, and the Don Callis family comes out to, I guess, help the Young Bucks, and they start beating up on...
Yeah, there's always a little collusion.
But, the Young Bucks, when Don specifically recruited them, you will recall the Young Bucks, this was when the Young Bucks, remember, they were in like kind of a small area, and they didn't have their own dressing room anymore. And Don Callis said, let the family, and the Young Bucks specifically said, we will never be part of your family, right? And so they've always been kind of these reluctant outsiders to the Callis family. And so it was Josh Alexander, Lance Archer, and and Mark Davis ran out, and they start beating up Jurassic Express. And the Bucks don't join in on the beatdown. They're kind of ambivalent towards this whole thing, like, whatever, we lost. I mean, we're already mad we lost. That's all that mattered to us anyway. And they start walking to the back, and the Callis family guys are like, where the fuck are you going? Like, we did this for you. and then Kenny Omega's music hits, which I kind of was starting to expect, because he has to repay the favor to Jack, right?
Yep.
And so his music hits, he runs out. He has a nice little back and forth with the Callis guys. They bail out. They get the hell out of there. Kenny has a little stare down with the Bucks, like, you fucking cowards, And I loved it, because as this is all coming to an end, I will say it was weird to go from them hitting the music of Omega, and Kenny Omega has one of the best entrance themes of all time, in my opinion. I love the battle cry.
Yes.
But for that to then switch back to Tarzan Boy was a little weird. It was like a weird momentum shift that I was like, okay, I don't think that musically works very well, but like,
we'll let it slide.
A fan had an Inoki towel and a sign that said Inoki Forever, and Kenny grabbed it. He put on the Inoki towel and then held up the sign that said Inoki Forever. What a class move. That was so dope. So dope. So we've only described 2 matches. We got to really kick this up here. So,
and I just let my dog out for a second time.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. So let's see how many times he wants to come in and out before we're fucking done.
She hasn't found another family yet. But
someday.
There's always hope.
The next match was a trios match, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and this was a perfect way to show like how much the show just never took its foot off the gas, because this was a match that you could say, okay, after the excitement of that tag team match, like, this might be a slower one because it's a lot of beefy boys, you know what I mean? But holy shit, like, they put on a goddamn show. The rise of the demand has been one of my favorite recent developments in AEW. Just, oh my God, the Gates of Agony are monsters.
Yes. And so you tell me if you agree. I think this match was not, the demand, like Ricochet and the Gates of Agony trying to raise their stock. This was the Hurt Syndicate and Ricochet trying to get Gates of Agony's level up. And that was what was so cool. So Hurt Syndicate comes out, And immediately the Demand attacks them from behind. And they dominate these guys. They beat the shit out of the Hurt Syndicate. They isolate MVP. That's how they won that match that they won against them before. They beat the fuck out of Bobby and Shelton. So that, you have not seen Bobby Lashley thrown around like that before.
No.
And it was brutal. It was brutal. And they kind of have their way with MVP for a minute there, where MVP looks like he's, ripe for the picking. They even do that spot where it's him getting up and the three of them are surrounding him. And
yeah.
And really, this entire match is a giant showcase for GOA. And that's what I loved about it. What I love about this run for Ricochet, this guy hasn't just proven to me that he's a good character. He's proven to me how smart he actually is about wrestling. This guy doesn't do 75 big moves a match anymore. He does maybe one or two, but it means so much because you almost forget how athletic Ricochet is because he's so entertaining.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing that I think is so great about him in this run that he's had as a heel is he's got to be cementing himself as one of the best heel bumpers of all time. Like, holy,
100%.
How the way the things he does when he's taking offense is just so perfect for his character. The screams when he gets thrown, and he'll let you like it was the match last week on Dynamite when they had the Ricochet and whatever versus Bobby and Shelton, and my God, Shelton German suplexed Ricochet to he went out of orbit before he came back down and hit that table. Good Lord.
Yeah, he suplexed him over the top rope in this match.
In this match, yeah.
The two things that you guys said are literally what I say in every Ricochet match. Like, number one, he gets the shit kicked out of him really well. And number two, yeah, his character work is so strong that when seriously, every match, I'm like, oh, that's right. I forgot he's fucking crazy. Yeah, that's it.
You know what I love about Ricochet? He has no edge at all. Like, he is not an edgy heel at all. He's a coward and a nerd. Okay.
Yeah.
And
totally.
He's just contemptible. And you want to see him get hurt because it's very entertaining to watch him get his ass kicked.
Easily.
Even MJF has more edge than Ricochet. Ricochet is the truest heel they have. Christian Cage wasn't even as true a heel as Ricochet is because Christian Cage would get in a good burn and you'd be like, oh, that's cool.
He's cool.
Ricochet's not cool. He sucks in every single way. He just sucks. If somebody's getting pinned, it's usually Ricochet, right? He's figured out, he doesn't need to be a world champion to be a huge star.
Right.
He's a huge star by elevating everybody he works with.
Yep.
He's the guy that everybody wants to work with. I'm sure of it. And in this match, Ricochet Shelton, by the time Lashley and Benjamin recover enough, Shelton Benjamin does an exploder suplex to Ricochet over the top rope onto everyone else on the outside. And then Shelton runs the ropes and fucking flips over the top rope, no hands, and lands on everybody. This match had so many showcases of incredible athleticism for Shelton Benjamin specifically. It was awesome to see.
It builds on, they've been promoting, he got pinned, was it Wednesday or the week before? And that's the first pin Shelton Benjamin has taken. And you combine those comments with these athletic achievements, and the package that they present with that dude is so cool. He's just a blast. Love
the thing I've loved about this feud too is the Hurt Syndicate were pretty much the reason Ricochet turned heel. Right in the first place, because he was trying to get in with the Hurt Syndicate and they kind of big brothered him and nerd, nah. And then that's when Ricochet went on that heel run. He had that great program with Swerve, and he did a little bit here and there, but then he gets into the Demand, and for the first real feud to be him going up against the Hurt Syndicate, who shattered his world. it was great long term story.
Well, and long-term character development,
Yeah.
it's like
Layered
the thing
character.
about this is where the whole stupid, moronic, like, I don't even want to talk about this garbage. I don't even want to talk about it here that much, but like the whole AEW stories thing is like, wow, these are clearly incredibly stupid fucking people, because the thing about AEW that's different than every other wrestling I have ever watched is the only other place I've really seen it is New Japan. Your career is your story. Your character is your story. We don't forget the shit you've done. We don't forget who you feuded with. But the entirety of that person is the story, and how they intersect with the other stories that are being told by the other careers of the other characters. That's how it's done. Swerve is going to call Ricochet Trevor again at some point, and everybody's going to be like, oh, Trevor.
I had the same conversation because I had friends over last night. I had the same conversation with them, because they're wrestling fans, but they're not like watch every single week, they're more like they'll catch the highlights here and there and whatnot. And I was telling them, the one thing I love about AEW is that people will say they don't have stories, but they're just not paying attention. And the thing I love about AEW is that it is told in a very realistic way. It feels like you're watching. It's so grounded in reality. It's not like, okay, like now, you're the Undertaker, and then now you're Motorcycle Undertaker, and now you're this it's not like your character is like making these radical changes. It's like, no, you are just your character, and it's just the evolution of you throughout your career, and it's not, like you said, like, we're not going to forget the things you did 6 months ago just because you're in a different story now. No, that's all still a part of it. And the best example of that to me is Hangman's story, because that started when he first joined the company. Here we are 6 years later, and we're still watching the evolution of Hangman, and everything that came before it is still part of that story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That same thread. There's not just turns for the sake of turns. It's all very
right.
Oh, this guy's not going to like that, or yeah, the threads that have started with the very first thing are still.
It's just it's reality grounded. It's how it would be if this was a real sport,
Right.
Like Ken Griffey Jr. isn't just gonna one day be, like Samurai Ken Griffey Jr. You know what I mean? Like
He'll be a long, slow build to becoming Samurai.
Exactly.
Exactly. Or he'll become Garbage Man Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
I think he should take on more of a mystical idea. He should be Ken Griffin Jr. and he should have Orion and the head of an eagle and then the wing. Anyway.
Stop. Okay.
So then what was the next match?
Well, we didn't even get to the end of this one. So
I thought I was moving it along.
What happened essentially is at the end is that they juxtapose what happened in the beginning of the match where the Demand had MVP outnumbered. Now the Hurt Syndicate has Ricochet outnumbered. And I loved this ending. Khan reaches in, pulls Ricochet out. He's like, that's our leader. I'm not going to let you do this to him. And then he gets in and he's like, come on, you motherfuckers. And he like spits at him and shit. And they beat his ass and they pin him. He looked like a fucking badass in that moment, though, because he just was like, no, you do this to me, not to him.
And I saw today he tweeted out he said, put me in the Continental Classic. So,
shit.
Oh, boy.
I'm excited for that.
Oh, boy. I would love Khan in the Classic. That would be amazing.
He's a fucking man.
He is a fucking stallion. He really, honestly, he could be the Roman Reigns of AEW if he wanted to be.
He's a fucking unit.
He's gorgeous too. I'm a straight
man. He's the only wrestler that I will overlook him not wearing knee pads.
Yes, exactly.
I didn't even notice he doesn't wear knee pads.
It works.
Exactly.
He's basically human knee pads. Like he's just knee pad proof. Like you can't do anything. So, okay. So we have a lot to talk about still, so we need to start moving this along. Next match.
Fletcher Briscoe. Let's
Hoyle
talk
Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe. 5.
Yep.
They've done 5 of these. First one was less than a year ago when this match was announced. Now, on the one hand, I like the follow through, right? Because Briscoe was remember Briscoe faced Takeshita, and if he beat Takeshita, he would challenge Kyle Fletcher for the TNT title, and he lost due to chicanery and fuckery right after Takeshita won the G1. Now Takeshita's the IWGP Heavyweight Champion or World Heavyweight Champion, and they eventually circled back to all of this, and I love it. And this is just an example of 2 guys. I've seen them fight 4 times. And after 2, I was like, okay, we've seen this, you know? Every time before the match, I'm like, we have seen this. I hope it's good. But I mean, how are they going to outdo? And then every single fucking time at the end of the match, I'm like, how'd they do that? How?
Jay Driller on the apron is how you do it. Jesus
Jay
Christ.
Driller on the apron, a fucking froggy bow while Fletcher is laying on the top rope.
Right?
And then one to the outside and then one on the inside. And Fletcher still kicks out. Like, just an epic fucking match.
Like, I don't have too much to say on this match other than Kyle Fletcher, to me, like, I wouldn't be surprised if one day we're talking about him the way we talk about Kenny Omega, you know,
100%.
The way we talk about Will Ospreay. Like, he could really be the greatest of all time if he keeps progressing at the level he's at. Like, everything he does is smooth as hell, but it's rough, you know? Like, when he does that you know, like that it's almost like a mix of the Last Ride and a Batista bomb.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
just the power, the crispness, and the speed behind his moves. Like, he is just shot out of a cannon the whole match. And his story, the way he tells a story through his emotions visually on his face, you know, he's screaming the whole match. Like, the moment that really sold me on Kyle Fletcher, and he just keeps bringing that same emotion to his matches, is when him and Ospreay at Revolution, when he's in the cage and he's just looking at Ospreay, fuck you, I hate you. And Ospreay takes his head off, but like, man, he's the total package, and he's so young. He's so young.
Yeah.
He still
26.
has so much room to grow. I think he's going to be one of the greatest.
And every single match you see there's always one new thing added, whether it's a move or whether it's part of his personality or his expressions. And even now, like, every time he was in pain, he's making the same fucking face that Don Callis makes when he announces Hechicero. That, you know,
Is.
It's
or
like
when he's
little
scared,
things
he makes the Don face.
Yeah. And it's like you see every match, there's some new thing where you're like, God, this guy literally is progressing in every single match you see.
I would honestly love to see him get away from the Don Callis family sooner rather than later. I think he is ready to stand on his own. I think he's outgrown him.
I don't know.
I
don't know
like
about
him
that.
with the Callis family. So
yeah,
because I think if they lose Kyle, because they're losing Takeshita. I mean, we all see it coming. So if they lose Takeshita and Kyle, that really neuters the Don Callis family. But
it does.
I think it could go either way. I mean,
I think it could work.
And you know what? Yeah. You know what? Thinking about it, you're right, because I imagine once Ospreay comes back, you're going to be seeing Kyle and Ospreay meet a lot in main events, and the history that Will has with the Don Callis family, that plays up for that puts a good position for Kyle to be his biggest nemesis.
Also, who took out Swerve? It was the Callis family.
Yeah.
So, and they took out Nana too. So Swerve's coming back with vengeance in mind for the Callis family, and we've never seen Kyle versus Swerve.
No.
So
all right, you talked me out of it.
That's a fresh matchup. So anyway, these guys go to war. They kick out of everything. Mark Briscoe looks super tough. In the end, Kyle does manage to sneak a dick kick in, and he does get the win. They go 25 minutes. Fantastic match. Another one for the fucking history books for the ages.
Again, all gas, no breaks this show.
Fletcher Briscoe 5 was absolutely incredible. God damn it. Next match. This is one of the matches I was really looking forward to on this show. The package that they ran before the match really illustrated to me how much Toni Storm has helped Chris Statlander in this feud, in the build to this match. And all of her incredible quotes from it just really showcases how great Toni Storm is. A lot of people, I did see people kind of fearful that Sat could drop the title to Toni in this match. And I do get it because Toni has won at a lot of points where I thought she might have needed to lose or whatever. But I had no fear in this match at all. This is Stat's time.
Yep. And I love the story Toni's telling for herself, feeding into that, the things people have been saying online, who is she without the title?
Right.
She's really playing on that. Are you still going to love me if I'm not the champion? Who am I if I don't have that title? Are you still going to be by my side? And sure as shit, I think we got the answer for once that music hit, that arena exploded.
Yeah.
God damn.
And her quote, what is it? We've told some ridiculous lies. Yep. And I can't remember the rest of that quote. But then she goes, I'm a woman in search of my murder, but death is not ready for me. And then the bit ends. It's God damn it. How can I love this woman any more than I already do?
Toni Storm is the best thing that has ever happened to pro wrestling.
She is so fucking incredible.
She's up there.
The music hits. Toni comes out. I loved her outfit. I don't know why, but I was like, hello, Toni. Just even more than usual. I don't know what it was, but goddamn.
I know what it is. It's because in the match when her makeup got smeared and she started looking like the Joker, I know that you have a big crush on Jack Nicholson.
Hey, there you go.
I thought
there
it was because when she first came out and her face was really pasty white, she looked like Marlon Brando in The Island of Dr. Moreau. And I know Blade has a huge crush on Marlon Brando, specifically.
They are two of my favorite actors. You really have correctly identified that aspect of it. So congratulations to both of you. Fuck you both. And then Chris Statlander. Can we say Chris Statlander's new music rules? I really like
so badass.
So good.
You know what? When her music hit, and when it really kicks in, after the little intro, I looked over at my friend and I was like, God damn, AEW has the best fucking music in wrestling.
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Flash Gordon, so that fucking her shift back into being the alien and this modified version,
her music sounds heroic.
It does. Yes, it's exactly it. It's it's so uplifting and
it's even got a little trace of the Kurt Angle theme in it. I mean, it's
his
really
music is heroic,
Yeah, right. But hers is actually badass. His was corny, It's
no, totally. But it's got a dun da da da.
Yeah, totally. It's got this triumphant space alien.
Triumphant. That's a good way to put it.
It's when you hear the John Williams Superman music and you can hear it's Superman, it's Superman.
Yeah, totally.
It's dun, dun, it's there.
Well, it's perfect too because as much as I think Toni is the best goddamn thing that's ever happened to pro wrestling. I look at Stat the way that I look at Hangman in regards to AEW. She's going, she might not be to the level Hangman's at yet in his, being the main character or whatever. But I think that's the plan for Stat, is for her to be the top of the division, going forward.
She's day one,
being the women's hero of AEW.
I think this is an example of somebody, and Moxley's doing the same thing. Is you drop the title and then you wholeheartedly put over the next champion. You know what I mean? Stat kind of has this interesting history. she's a TBS champion. She broke Jade Cargill's undefeated streak, but she did it in kind of this weird way, right? Where like Jade issues an open challenge after she's already wrestled, then Stat comes out and crushes her, right? And so it's like, yeah, you beat her, but kind of in a weird way. And then Stat goes one-on-one with her and beats her in her last match in AEW, right? Well, same here. You know, like she did pin Tony in the multi-woman match, but it was a multi-woman match. It was kind of weird.
Exactly. No, she needed this one-on-one to prove that it wasn't a fluke.
Yep.
And Stat in the early going dominates Tony, you know, kind of just proving like she's physically just superior to Tony. She can do shit Tony just can't do. But they proceed to have what I consider to be one of each of their best matches in AEW. You know, I think
of recent memory, easily.
Yeah. For Stat, I got to say the high points are still the Mercedes matches, but this is a great match. They are very physical with each other. They are doing really cool shit. Lots of submission wrestling. And it's very back and forth. I love when Tony goes for the Storm Zero. Stat does a headstand and like avoids taking the impact, but she can't do it the second time. She kicks out. And, you know, so much like great, like playing with people's expectations. Mm-hmm. But finally, Stat ends up with Tony at a long stretch in a submission of her own. That's very cool looking. And Tony goes, just kill me. And Stat just picks her up, hits the Saturday Night Special, and ends it. Awesome.
And I gotta say, you know, in regards to Tony, like one of the things that I think makes her so good that really shined in this match is she's not just a gimmick. Like that woman can fucking wrestle, and she can wrestle physically. Like she is tough as nails. She knows how to wrestle technically. She knows the sport. She knows the move. There's nothing she can't do. No. She is, to anyone who ever says she's just a gimmick, like it must be blind.
No, she's got one of the best fucking pile drivers I've seen.
Oh,
fucking love it. She's great.
If you watch any of her matches, especially this year, she's just hit this whole new level of physicality where it's like the match in Australia with Mariah May, the Hollywood ending, you know, all of the match with Megan Bain. I mean, her and Mercedes, you know, like she is taking huge bumps and she's, even when she wins, she's making her opponents look incredible. You know, Athena fucked her up. Like Athena beat the living shit out of her and she escaped by the skin of her teeth, you know, but yeah, this was, and Tony just hugs Stat at the end and walks to the back. And is dejected and looks really, really upset. And then the CEO music hits. And before Stat can even get to the back, the CEO music hits. And she comes out with the only acceptable use, as our friend Joe Blearyline said, the only acceptable use of the frat house is them wearing her belts, dancing like obnoxious assholes.
Cabana Boys.
Yes, the Cabana Boys. Mercedes comes out with her Cabana Boys and has a little stare down with Stat. She had issued an open challenge in CMLL and said she wanted to face a champion from anywhere in the world. And
I thought it was about to be Stat.
I thought so too. For just a second, I was like, are they going to pull some fuckery here and have Mercedes challenge Stat and have her get goaded into defending it against a fresh Mercedes? No, she just says, get the hell out of my ring. Her surprise challenger, I will say it was a little meh on the surprise factor, is Mina Shirakawa. The, what do they call them? It's not provisional. It's the interim. Yes.
The Commonwealth champion.
Yeah. Ring of Honor women's television champion. I was not looking forward to this in the sense that I thought if it was Mina, she should win because Mina's lost twice to Mercedes in the last year already in pretty high-profile matches.
And I think they set themselves up for that to be kind of a letdown, you know, building up the open challenge and who's it going to be. I think, especially, between our group of friends and everything, like a lot of us had very different ideas of who it could be.
Right. People were
And
talking
it
about
was just
Shiri and
it's like,
Athena.
it's me. I mean, I love Mina Shirakawa, but
of course.
I think it kind of telegraphed, like, okay, Mercedes is breaking the belt record tonight.
Well, the copium that I was experiencing was that Mina was dressed in the TBS colors. And so, like, you're kind of like, well, the belt already matches her outfit. I mean, maybe that's foreshadowing. Then I was like, what's the point of having this match go after the women's world title match if there's not going to be a title change, And that turned out not to be the case at all. This ended up being a really great match, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Mina and Mercedes have incredible chemistry, and Mercedes barely won. I mean, this was not a defeat that Mina should feel any shame over. She loses the Ring of Honor interim TV title, which to me, like, they wanted Mercedes to have 11 belts. Like, if I was thinking rationally, she has to break, the record, right? And so they give her an interim title. I'm like, okay. I mean, like, all right.
Hey,
like,
you know what? I must have commented this on like 87 different like posts last night.
Yes, you were going.
Goat is now spelled CEO.
That's right. You were going nuts on that. Yes.
Goat.
I
Give her more belts.
So if you're the interim champ and you lose the title, you were never really the champ, right?
Right. That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
you were
erased.
an interim champ. You're a placeholder for the actual champ, and then there's going to be a unification match.
Down the road,
now Red Velvet has to face Mercedes at some point when she's back, and that's a match I want to see. I'm really into Red Velvet. Is she's a
we
fantastic
got a little
wrestler.
development.
We sure did. So Mina loses and heads to the back. And looks just crestfallen and destroyed. But Stats music hits, and she's like, you know what? You fucked with me. I'm fucking with you back. She comes out, and she's like, you may have all those belts, but I got the belt. And, waves it in Mercedes' face. They cut to the back, and Renee is with Toni Storm, who looks like
We've all been there.
Yeah. She looks like she's coming down from an acid trip or something, like where she's just kind of like, what the fuck just happened? She's in disbelief.
She's just sitting there dead.
Yes. And then Mina walks into the shot, and Tony goes, we've lost everything. And Mina goes, we still have each other. And Tony and Mina are entering that women's tag title tournament. Fuck yeah, give that to me all day, all night. That's a great way to make that division feel even more significant. No shade to anybody else in that division. I don't even need Mina and Tony to win it. I think they might, but at the same time, like, that just gives the division more legitimacy, keeps Tony away from the singles titles, but keeps her on the shows. So
I would love not to book too forward. I would love give it to Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, and then make someone have to really beat them for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But a lot of cool things coming up for the women's tag division. Speaking of tag divisions, folks, tag team wrestling in many ways defined this show. And my God, this might be my match of the night.
Yep.
Holy fucking shitballs, Batman.
If you say any one of these names, I'm excited. Like, it doesn't matter who they're facing. Any one of them. And then you put all fucking four of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, going into this match, the biggest thing I think people were looking out for was the interactions between Okada and Takeshita, because you knew something was going to happen in this match. That, like, I think a lot of us thought Takeshita would turn and quit the family, what's going to happen between them. But then they just go out and put on a goddamn fucking tag team clinic.
Listen, Bandido has been my most pleasant surprise of this year, where it was like, Kyle Fletcher was like my most pleasant surprise of 2024. Like, his coming out party, the C2, the matches with Will, all of that stuff. Fletcher was like realizing he's going to be a massive star, like, way sooner than I thought, But this was like, when Bandido was put in that tag tournament, I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. The name's stupid, but that's kind of cute. You know, they're going to have them do reasonably well in this tournament before FTR beats them or before the Bucks beat them or something. These two, the chemistry they have is unreal. Seeing Brody King get a real deal push outside of the fucking house of goddamn fucking fuckery. And seeing that whole thing kind of dissolve, honestly, has been refreshing. Seeing him and Bandido and him telling Bandido throughout this match, we keep fighting.
Yeah.
When
Get
Bandido
this white
looks,
meat baby face, you know,
Oh, it's
and you wouldn't think it. I love it.
I get chills thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then the heart of Bandido.
Yeah.
The
oh
heart.
my God.
And that fucking,
He's my wrestler of the year.
that shoulder injury and still selling it through this whole match. Like,
Oh my God.
so good.
Oh my God. And then the heart of Bandido and maybe, you know, I want to get your opinion on this, both of you. It's not because he's a luchador. It's because of his persona, Rey Mysterio vibes. Like that baby face that kids or anybody can understand with very little explanation. Like, you don't need to know much about Bandido to just root for Bandido because
it's a Spider-Man quality. I mean, it's
exactly. He's the Spider-Man of AEW is what he is like, he's got this physical charisma, this fighting spirit that's just transferable in any language. Doesn't matter where you're from. Bandido gets into your heart, you know, no matter what he does.
And then he's got this buddy on top of it who's this great big. There's a part in the match. I'm sorry, Blade. I'll just be real quick. Let you guys get back. Where they're fucking with Bandido outside the ring, and Brody's trying to get out there, and Aubrey's like being the ref, and you know, no. And he just has this pained look on his face, like, but that's my buddy. I gotta help him. And like, like it's just so easy to connect with those two. It is.
Well, and the ending to this match perfectly telegraphs that fighting spirit that you were talking about. Because Bandido, he's had that shoulder injury that Hechicero gave him, you know, a while back, and he's been dealing with that, and so he goes for the 21 gun. What is it called? 21 gun.
21 plex.
21 plex, and his shoulder gives out. He can't get Okada up. And then Brody just looks at him and says, Bandido, never stop fighting. Hits it again with one arm.
Yeah.
Gets Okada up for that suplex, the pan, boom. Jesus Christ, what a fight.
You can see the belief Tony Khan has in Bandido, which makes me so happy because he let him pin Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah.
That is a dude who has been pinned by like 2 or 3 people in AEW. He got pinned by Will Ospreay. Or no, he didn't even get pinned by Will Ospreay. He got pinned by Kyle Fletcher in the C2. He got pinned. I'm trying to remember. He did get pinned by one other person. And then he got pinned by Bandido. And that's it. Like, that's it. Like, this dude doesn't. We got pinned by Danielson is what it is.
It helps me feel a little bit better because my only it's not even really a complaint about the team of Bandido is I do want both of them to have big singles pushes.
I agree with you. I do think they're both going to be set up for that after this run. Like, this is going to make that possible. Where it's like,
oh yeah,
you know, you know, I talked about this on Sit Down, Shut Up, is like Tony Khan's ability to pair people in these inspired ways. Keith Lee and Swerve, Kenny and Hangman, you know, these patched together tag teams that have a title run, and then they become one of the best tag teams in the history of the company.
I mean, the Acclaimed were just kind of thrown together initially.
They were a patchwork team as well. Absolutely. And they came up from the ground up. But there's so many highlights in this match, folks. You have to see this for yourself. This is the match of the show for me. Somehow beats that Bucks match. But this is just an incredible match. Like it's
and we did get another seed pushing Okada and Takeshita towards that inevitable showdown.
And so we got to talk about that real fast. So in the beginning, what I like is in the establishing of Takeshita as a babyface, he's very professional. He's just trying to keep things professional. He's tagging in, he's tagging out. And Okada's being a dick. Yeah. Okada is antagonistic. Okada is trying to put him in his place. Now Okada's really bitter because he's the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, the champion he used to be, right? Yeah. So now he's feeling even more insecure and dickish.
Well, a great visual of that in this match was, when Okada's making fun of the Macarena doing the middle fingers.
Oh my God.
And Takeshi's just kind of in the corner, kind of shaking his head a little bit. Like, what are we doing? Let's we got a match happening.
And so the moment in this match comes, they have Bandido isolated. Brody's on the outside. And Okada goes for the Rainmaker on Bandido. Bandido ducks, and Okada Rainmakers Takeshita. And Takeshita goes to the outside, and that's where Okada's finally isolated. Brody tells him to try it again, and he hits the 21 plex and gets the pin on Okada.
But before that, Okada hit that Rainmaker on Takeshita, and as Takeshita's rolling out of the ring, Okada's kind of looking at him, but he's
smiling. Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Smiling, and as Takeshita falls, he gets in a little double bird at him.
Yeah. Okada doing the Macarena with the middle finger is fucking hilarious. And after the match, we finally got it. Brody and Bandido did the Macarena together.
Yep.
Yeah.
We cut to the back.
Well, Bandido had his family too.
Oh, his son came in the ring and oh my God.
Well, and to your earlier point about him pinning Okada, like this match felt big. The end of this match, they didn't like they put the importance on there. Like it's like these guys are our big tag team champions of the world, man. Like
yes,
it's a big deal.
Yes, it was a huge win.
Like their coronation,
Yes, I agree with you. And I think
it was a celebration, bitches.
Takeshita hitting that crazy tombstone into the German on Brody.
Well, we didn't even mention that Brody King suplexed three men.
Dude, and then he gets up and he does that big,
it just falls.
And then he falls. That was so good.
That was so good, yeah.
Guys, if you're listening to this, there's so many great moments in this match.
Yeah.
Just go watch it.
This was for sure my match of the night.
Yeah, it's match of the night for me. It may not have been my moment of the night, which I think is next, but
yeah, baby.
Before the match, we cut to the back to one Mercedes Moné, who's furious that Statlander tried to one-up her after she clearly did the same thing before, but that's what heels do, right? She just issues a straight-up challenge. It's going to be the CEO and Stat at Full Gear. I'm not a huge fan of the secondary champion and the world champion fighting on a pay-per-view. They've done this a lot this year. Not my favorite thing in the world because I wish both belts were being defended. But at the same time, I want to see that match. I mean, they wrestled for the first time last year at Full Gear. So we're getting it again. I want to see Stat beat Mercedes is what I want to see. So very excited for that
I'm thinking will happen.
I think so. I think the world title will be on the line. Stat's going to beat Mercedes, and then Mercedes is going to start dropping all the belts.
Right.
Shortly thereafter.
11 is the record, right?
She's set the record with 11.
She set the new record. Okay, that's what I thought.
10 was the record. 11 is what she
we're
has.
Supposed to be calling her Ultimo Monet now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we fucked up.
Monet, yeah. I know.
How did they miss Ultimo Monet?
Oh,
I know.
Dude. Wow.
I know. That was in the Discord last night. People were saying that. How do you miss Ultimo Monet?
Yeah. No, well, never thought of it either.
Well,
you
should probably tweet it, and then it'll show up on the bottom. Oh, no, it's too good to show up on the bottom hand. Most of those aren't that good.
We did it.
I'm so bad that I want to get on there.
Dude, most of
We
their
did-
tweets are just like, this is very good. It's like, well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, totally.
I
know.
agree, but
I know. So I actually posted on Threads like, this fucking tag match fucking fucks. This is incredible. Share this one on the pay-per-view AEW, and I tagged them, but
no.
they're cowards. They won't do it. So we're moving on to the next match, which is the men's AEW World Champion, the AEW Men's World Champion, Hangman
And
Adam Page, defending
This
against
to me, let me, because this match had me more excited for a match than I have been in a long time. You both know that this was one that I have been fucking hyped for, because the aura around this match to me has the way they've built it. Like, this felt like a heavyweight fight. This felt like Mike Tyson versus fucking Evander Holyfield. This felt like fucking Muhammad Ali versus Smoking Joe Frazier. This was two heavyweights who were gonna have to fucking slugfest it out, and it lived up to every single one of my expectations and then some.
Oh my
Yes,
God.
it did.
So the match itself, you know, the way this had been built was like Samoa Joe's being an asshole. He's still bitter that Hangman's the champion and he never beat him, and et cetera, et cetera. But it felt like jealousy. It felt like bitterness and jealousy,
Sure.
which can kind of be forgiven a little bit, right? Like, that is the world title. Everybody wants that championship. Joe's been the champion, you know? And the talking segments between these two have been absolute fucking nuclear fire, just between both
Incredible.
of them. Hangman has held his own with Joe, and that's saying something when Joe is your opponent on the mic. Holy
Joe
shit.
Joe could talk some shit.
Yeah.
These are two main event dudes who can talk people into the building, as
Yeah.
Dusty Rhodes would say, you know? Talk 'em
Samoa
into
Joe
the building,
is-
dead air.
I'm notoriously hesitant about choosing like my wrestling Mount Rushmore or my all-time greats. It's no hesitation. Samoa Joe's on the list. He's absolutely the first choice Hall of Fame. Like, anytime you put Samoa Joe in a storyline, I'm in. He's always a credible opponent.
Yes.
Like, I just
Well, the
fucking
thing,
love Samoa Joe.
the thing about Joe that was also a big reason why I was so hyped on this match is, you know, he's not 7 foot tall, but he's a giant in his
Yeah.
own sense, you know. And Hangman hasn't fought an opponent like Joe in quite some time. You know, he beat Mox, he beat Fletcher, he beat Max, but now he's got to face a giant.
When
you know?
when Hangman
He's
advertised
gotta-
the match as me against Samoa Joe's sturdy ass. Like that,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
exactly
right.
it.
Christmas ham of a man.
Yes.
It's like
yes.
if Frosty the Snowman found a different hat that turned him into flesh and blood, that he
Yeah.
would be Samoa Joe. Like, that's
And-
a dude's fucking build.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's what I was hoping this match was going to feel like. I was hoping that it was going to feel like, Hangman, how are you going to chop down the behemoth? And quite literally, that's how what he had to do to win. Like, 'cause I mean, I don't want to get to the ending yet, but when we get to that ending, I got words.
Well, I appreciated the presentation of this match a lot. They wrestled like it was a WrestleMania main event, which is Joe is the indestructible death machine that is larger than Hangman, can easily go blow for blow with Hangman, which not everybody can, right? Like, Hangman is a very physical wrestler. I love Hangman. Like,
Yeah.
he's the best pure babyface world champion since Bret Hart. I really believe that. Like,
Huh?
this guy is so relatable. I root for him on every level. Okay. I felt very confident he was going to win until the match happened. And then it's like, Jesus Christ, Joe is torturing this man. Joe is hurting this man. And Joe just has a credibility that is impossible to fully explain with words. You just have to see it.
Yep.
And they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But really, Joe is in control most of this match. And Hangman looks beaten the fuck up. Okay? And we're getting to the end here. Brett, why don't you get in what you wanted to say?
And this is probably what played into my feeling about the next match, is this image should have ended the night. You know, you had a staggering, slobbering Joe, and Hangman hits him with a buckshot. Joe staggers. Hangman sprints to the outside, hits him with a second one. Joe staggers. Hits that third buckshot. Joe is finally dropped. Hangman gets the win. And that is exactly, like, that sequence is everything I imagined this match being put into one sequence. Is just a staggering, slobbering giant, and Hangman just having to chop him down little by little. It was a beautiful image. Like, I think it's going to be, like, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm getting way ahead of myself, but, like, I think that's going to be a moment in AEW history. That image of the 3 buckshots to take down Joe. Because Joe sold it so perfectly.
Yeah, and then there's aftermath.
And then what happens
I think he's got a
next
good point.
Makes it even more memorable. Professor, do you want to tell the people what happened
at the end
next?
of the match?
Yeah.
Oh, the handshake, Samoa Joe, ever the sporting competitor, but maybe not so much. And then they fucked up Hangman real bad. Bad.
So what happens is, and the way they've told this story is really, really, they did this so well. So up until now, Joe's been the hothead, but Shibata and Hobbs have kind of kept him chill, you know? And so you look at them as mediators, and they come out after the match. Joe gets up. He's upset. He's disappointed, but he knows Hangman beat him fair and square.
Yep. His boys are there for support.
Yeah, his boys are there to support him. The ops got his back. And he shakes Hangman's hand.
Those two are nice guys, right? I mean, they're stand-up dudes.
They come in for the handshake. Hangman shakes his hand. Joe raises his hand. The camera pans wide, and I'm like, uh-oh. Like, the minute the camera panned, I'm like, this is bad. This is bad. Joe fucking flattens Hangman. And then the real shock, Shibata and Hobbs start putting the boots to Hanger, and they all turn heel. Shibata's a heel in AEW, folks. I want to see Murder, Death, Kill Shibata. I want to see Murder, Death, Kill Will Hobbs. That's what he's meant to be.
And you know what's so great about them making this turn is we also had earlier in the night, the Hurt Syndicate won the number one contenders for the trios title.
Right.
And that's because this is the story with Hurt Syndicate has been them, finally morphing into that babyface role that everyone's wanted from them. They tried to play them as heels, but everyone wanted to root for them.
Right.
And now you've got them going hot into a program with the freshly bad boy ops. Oh God, that's pro wrestling right there.
That's good shit. And that match is happening on Dynamite this Wednesday. They are doing.
And you know what? I hope that's just the start of a.
Oh yeah.
Well, and you can. So I have a theory about where this could go too. So this ends with Hangman had the living fuck beaten out of him. And
him and Joe are going to have to go again.
Yeah. Oh, full gear. They're going again. And it's going to be even crazier. Like, this is like undercover genius booking. Like, seems like a rushed build to this match, but they do it beautifully. Then they have the match. It's a great match. Then the heat comes.
Right.
Then this ends with Samoa Joe hitting a muscle buster onto the belt. And it looked like he landed snug on that motherfucker. Like, Hangman's got a bad, creaky ass back today.
He's got a backwards AEW logo imprinted.
Maybe hot take. If Hangman drops the title to a heel Samoa Joe, I'm not going to be that upset because, I mean, the title's always best when you have someone chasing it.
Well, here's the thing.
What better monster heel than Samoa Joe?
I never argue with that.
Well, I would be okay with it. I would be okay with it. I don't think it'll happen. And I think they're going to give Hangman a dominant run. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this is how you have an injury depleted roster. A lot of your top heels aren't there. MJF's filming a movie right now. You know, he's in the background somewhere, right? A lot of credible guys that could challenge Hanger are out. Kenny's kind of injured. Copeland's out. Christian's out. You have Swerve out. You have Osprey out. I mean, that's a murderer. That's somebody's main event scene, you know, in another promotion. Jay White's out. Has a history with Hanger, you know?
Well, he should be coming back soon.
Yeah. But if you can stretch, Samoa Joe into 2 pay-per-views, you've accomplished something big right there. Because you've gotten 2 matches out of this, and you know you've just set the table for the next one, or with what you've accomplished so far. This is going to be fucking great television. I am so excited for Dynamite. I am so excited to see Samoa Joe get more mic time because he's the fucking man. Like, Samoa Joe is the fucking man. And I love Tony Khan so much for at least giving him 1 world title reign so far. You know, maybe he'll get it again. Maybe he'll take it from Hangman. I don't think so. But if he did, I could live with it.
Well,
like,
that's
I could
just
live
it.
with it.
Yeah. He's a credible threat at all times. I would never argue with it.
And that's the thing. Like, you can take this guy, you can put him in the trios division if you have other people you want to do stuff with. But from the trios division, you can make him the main event in a couple weeks. Like that. It just nothing. Yeah. Samoa Joe's that good. All right. We got to talk about this last match. And this is the only match where I think there's a little bit of a mismatch in the energies around this match. The main event and I think it was the right call to make it the main event, was Darby Allin.
How are they going to clean that up?
Yeah, right, exactly. Versus Darby Allin. Darby Allin versus Jon Moxley in an I Quit match. This is kind of like Passion of the Christ in a way. Like, is Darby Allin functionally just being tortured by Jon Moxley and the Death Riders for 20 solid minutes. In a variety of very creative ways, I have to say. They were very creative in the instruments of torture that they chose. There was Chinese fingernail torture.
Dude, that's the worst.
Disgusting.
It's absolutely so creepy to me. It hurts thinking about it.
Absolutely disgusting. I, as a teenager, I was doing the dishes, and there was a piece of something on a spoon that was dried, and I just kind of scraped at it with my nail. And it shot up under my nail.
Ugh.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that is some of the most pain I have ever experienced in my life. I ended up having to go to the emergency room, and they used this machine to cut a portion of my fingernail off so they could remove this fucking thing. I'm telling you guys, it was just a dried piece of like noodle.
Right.
And this thing hurt so bad. As a kid, I had a safety pin trying to get at it because I just wanted it out so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had to give me painkillers and shit. I mean, getting something shot under your fingernail is terrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
It ain't good. It ain't good.
No.
And then he got whipped with a belt.
He got whipped with a belt. I mean,
like a lot.
He got press slammed by Claudio Castagnoli with a running start. Got press slammed from one side of the ring over the ropes of the other onto the announce table. Claudio literally looks at the announce team and goes, move.
But we'd already seen that 3 times before from them.
2.
Like,
well, just 1.
2 times, but no,
previous.
he's done it. This would be the 3rd time. And that was another thing I had. Like, God damn it, like, we're doing that again? Like, we've already done that spot 2 times.
But Brett, what do you want them to do? Like, what else can they do?
Something creative.
Okay, so you didn't think the aquarium was creative?
That was creative.
The aquarium
he drowned the man. He was waterboarding him in the middle of the ring. There was a fucking water puddle in the middle of the ring.
So here's the thing. Well, we have... keep going.
So the Death Riders have ganged up on Darby. And here's what I think you're underestimating about the story of this match, okay? And this is I know we disagree. I know I'm not going to change your mind.
There ain't no good guys. There ain't no bad guys.
Darby won the match psychologically. He undid Mox because nothing Mox did to him would make him quit.
Right.
And Mox was selling that the whole time. I don't think that's like me coping and trying to like add meaning to the story. Mox was beaten psychologically because he wasn't willing to do what it took, which is exactly what he's been saying about the rest of the roster. You guys aren't willing to do what it takes. And Darby showed you're going to have to literally fucking kill me. And Mox would not do it. And
well, get to the finish and I'll give my thoughts.
Get to the finish before you absolve the finish or whatever. You forgot the shining wizard that appeared.
Right. Well,
beautiful, like
a ghost.
Hair. Joe Bleary Line 7, our buddy, our good friend, said, "It's Sting Dolph the White."
Oh, totally, dude. Yeah.
The lights go out. They come back up, and Sting, looking absolutely resplendent,
dude,
with sheet white hair, a sheet white beard, and the crow makeup, looking cooler than he's ever looked in my life.
That image to me, like, it popped the hell out of me because visually, to me, it was like, this is the ghost of Sting.
Yes. Yep.
This is the spirit of Sting.
It's not. It's also like, we're not pretending that this is the young man and he's back and he's vital and whatever. This is the fucking legend. And the ghost thing is perfect. That's dead on. And then he hands Darby the magic wand or the lightsaber or Excalibur, as it were, you know?
He passed the torch.
Totally. And it's not this big movie moment. It's just, here's my bat, dude, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, that's the last time. I think that's the last time we'll ever see Sting.
I
don't
think
think
so
it
too.
ever happens again.
There's no need to. My kid hates Sting. He always fucking complains, Sting's old. Sting's an old man. And I was like, dude, you got to come up and watch this. And he comes up and he's kind of sitting there and he's quiet and he doesn't want to say anything. And he's like, I guess that's a pretty cool Sting.
Yeah. Well, and what was cool about it, what I loved about it
hold
is Sting.
on. Your kid is me as a kid. When I first got into wrestling and Ric Flair came back to WWE, I'm like, he's a fucking old man. Like, what do I give a shit about this guy?
Why the fuck
Before
is this
I
old
knew
man?
history, you know what I mean?
He hates Sting because everybody loves Sting. He's a fucking contrarian. He hates Brian
He's being a little
Danielson,
contrarian, edgelord little dude. I get it.
But you better pay attention to who he's listening to podcast wise.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The first time he mentions like Theo Vaughn, you fucking round his ass. Sting appears. He takes out the Death Riders. He hands the bat to Darby. He hit Moxley.
No, he didn't hit Moxley. He hit Claudio. He hit Wheeler, and he hits Pac. And then he tosses the bat to Darby.
Mm-hmm.
Goes out of the ring. Marina gets in his face, takes a swing at him, but he grabs her up on his shoulders and carries her
off. Right.
And then Darby's like pointing the bat at Mox, and Mox is holding it to his head like, do it, hit me. Do it, fucking hit me. And then he hits him in the knee, hits him in the back, hits the coffin drop, and then he puts him in a scorpion deathlock, and Mox just immediately quits.
In the water, yeah.
So, right. He hits Mox in the back and then in the side and then in the knee. And then he puts him in, and then he hits the death drop and then he puts him. Meanwhile, they've broken the aquarium. There's shattered glass all over the ring as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mox is also face down in a puddle. Okay. So I don't think they planned on that. I don't think that was part of the plan for the ending. So Brett, why don't you weigh in with your gripe?
I'm trying to justify that they were just pressed for time, and that's why this ended so abruptly. Because even online, like, I went and looked at like comments and stuff, and like 90% of what I'm seeing is people like, that was it? That's how it ended? What the hell happened? Like, and that was my, like, I like, because I saw him get him in the death lock, and I was like, oh yeah, we're going to see Mox struggle. We're going to see him like try to take this as far as he can before he finally gives up. And he didn't. It was just like Darby kind of struggles for a minute to put him in it. And almost immediately, the ref just goes, ring for the bell. We don't see Mox's face. We don't see him say he quits or anything. It just felt so like, what just happened? Like, that was it. Especially in a match where, you know, like you said, like, you know, he was beaten psychologically. I get it. But at the same time, like, this is Mox. Like, this is a guy who, to be beaten at WrestleDream, had to be taken out by Danielson, had to have Darby interfere, had to be buckshotted onto a bed of nails, took a fork to the head. The match Darby and Mox had at the last pay-per-view was more, he took more damage than he did in this match. And to me, it just felt so anticlimactic, especially with the way that it was built. And I think that's where they did themselves a disservice with a lot of people, is the way they built this match was one of them is going to have to basically die because neither of them are going to quit. You know, they had Darby going after Mox with Molotov cocktails, flamethrowers. You had that amazing promo of them behind the glass at the prison. You had Mox's big promo that he cut on Darby about, like, we know how this is going to have to end because you're not going to give up. I'm not going to give up. We're going to have to put each other through hell. And in the end, it didn't do that. You know, it just kind of ended.
It was abrupt.
Yeah, and I think for a story that was this big and had been told for this long, for your big bad guy to just quit after 2 seconds in a normal submission move, like, it just felt very flat.
I don't think, like, the 2 second thing doesn't bother me. Because I think I look at it a little more like how Blade does, in terms of it was this big spiritual victory, and it was Mox realizing, you know, Darby's done the thing that I say nobody can do. Well, Darby's done it. I don't have any reason to keep going, so I'm just going to go ahead and quit. There was no need for him to struggle. There was no need for him to do any of that. So that part doesn't bother me. It does kind of seem like there was like a frame missing, like just something in between putting on the Scorpion Deathlock and him, and not because of the time, but just like maybe like a story beat.
That's what I think it is. Like, I at least, like, you to not have the visual of Mox, like, just I quit, you know, just to have it be like head down and then the ref call for the bell. It was just like that. That was the big I quit ending.
The thing I've learned, though, is whenever AEW does something like that and something doesn't make sense, whenever Ricochet gets punked by the Hurt Syndicate, or whenever, you know, whatever, name a million different things that you look at and we go, wow, that was kind of weird. And then it does pay off. So I kind of also wonder if maybe him tapping out so fast, I mean, I guess it doesn't really change what you're saying about the story not being there, but I think it might play into what we see next from the Death Riders.
I think, like I said,
but yeah, that still doesn't change what you're saying.
After seeing the way the Hangman and Samoa Joe match ended, and
we didn't even talk about Samoa Joe's face at the end of that fucking match. That evil grin
cover of this episode.
And here's the thing too, is, you know, when you had the ending of All In with Hangman choking Mox out, and Mox is like that's the ending.
Finish, yeah.
That's the ending I think we all were expecting from this. And then it was just the ref calling for the bell.
Right. Like it kind of a little bit felt like they like I asked you guys earlier, like, did they forget that it was an I Quit match and they just thought it was a regular match and they just went for the submission? But no, I think there's a story to be told in that.
Oh, there is
that action.
I hope so, because if that's the end of it, man, that was weak.
I don't think it's the end. I mean, I think it's the end of Darby and Mox. I don't think there's anywhere else to go with that story. I think the story to be told from here is how Mox is now perceived by the Death Riders.
Right.
And him losing credibility. And if anything, I'm kind of excited for it because I think it opens up a new storytelling possibility for John, who is such a great actor and such a great storyteller. He is the authenticity in every story that he tells. And for him to be like feeling like a poser or like, that's an interesting direction.
Like I said, I understand all of that. Like, I don't mind him quitting right away, but it's just that like, I don't know if the camera was out of place or if they were just pressed on time, because I don't know. Like, pro wrestling,
he had a towel wrapped around his head. The AEW flag was wrapped around his head too. I don't think you could see I don't think they could get a clean shot of him.
But it's just like, in such a visual medium as pro wrestling is, to not even see him say "I quit" and just immediately call for the bell just felt like was that supposed to happen? Because it just felt very like, I don't know.
When the copyright
it just didn't hit.
When the copyright thing hit, like 15 seconds after they hit the bell, Darby's music hits, he's on the top turnbuckle, and then the copyright thing hit. I'm like, because the show went longer than they usually do anyway. And
well, that's what I think happened. Is I think they were up on time. Because even my friends who were with me were like right when the bell rang, they were like, wait, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? You know what I mean? And I think that was a lot of people's reaction from reading people online and stuff, is that's what I think a lot of people felt, was just that, wait, what? It's over?
I saw some people definitely say that. And I saw some people like disappointed or like mad. And then I saw a bunch of people just say they loved the show. I think it's just, I do agree it was abrupt. Mm-hmm. I do agree. Seeing Moxley say "I quit" would have been more powerful for sure.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Is my biggest gripe was, it isn't that he quit so quick. It was that we didn't even get an image of him saying "I quit." It was just his head's down and then the ref calls for the bell. Like, that just didn't have the impact I think it would have had if you would have actually seen him quit, especially with the way the match was built.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. I can agree with that. Well, that was WrestleDream.
Yeah.
And it was
overall, I think it was an amazing pay-per-view. Even that match I liked. It was just that finish was my only gripe of the night.
It was an amazing show. It was. I think my favorite show this year is All In, because the story build for so many matches was so good. But I think this is number 2. Overall, as an overall show, I think this is my second favorite show of the year.
I would so far say All In, WrestleDream, and Revolution have been my favorite.
This would be a very good show to show someone who's never seen AEW. And
absolutely,
it's that 1980s Marvel Comics edict where you say every comic could be your first comic, so show them everything you got. And this was one of those pay-per-views.
It was incredible. And I don't know how.
And we didn't even get to talk about how great the graphics and the aesthetic of the show were.
Oh yeah, the set
with the arch.
With the arch. I also thought, just another big shout out to the crowd. They stayed in it the whole night. It was clear they were just having a great time.
A lot of really good camera stuff. Like I remember something in the Jurassic Express Young Bucks match where I can't remember the whole sequence, but Luchasaurus popped off. He popped into the frame, and it was like a big surprise moment. And they were doing a lot of the camera crew was on last night. For the most part, I thought it was cool.
The visual storytelling in AEW has kind of hit a new high.
Sure.
And I think part of that was moving to smaller venues where they could do different kinds of shots and stuff. But they're telling stories visually in a very different way. Yeah. Well,
very good show.
We'll be back with The Hard Way next week. We'll be back with Sit Down, Shut Up on Friday. Till then, I'm Blade Daly.
I'm Brett Michelle.
And I am Professor Degree.
Do it, Brett.
Bye.